Joining me now from Stamford, Connecticut is Chunjuan Nancy Wei. She's an associate professor at the University of Bridgeport. So we just heard the preview, but what do you think will be the biggest issue to watch during the two sessions?
Well, thank you for having me. This week, more than 5,000 delegates from China have arrived in Beijing for the annual 2 weeks of the parliamentary meeting for the NPC and the CPPCC. The biggest thing on this is that the most closely watched law by the Trump administration and the other administrations in the West is a vote on the foreign investment law. It's a major piece of the legislation intended to address the concerns from the United States over intellectual property concerns. It is expected that the practice of forced technology transfer by local Chinese governments in return for domestic market access will be outlawed. Both have been long-term criticism from the Trump administration.
And how do you think, if at all, the current U.S.-China trade negotiations will factor into the two sessions?
As stated, the two sessions will address partially the United States concerns, especially with the Huawei and others. So partly of this foreign investment law will be the ones to address that concern.
But that being said, do you think it will be easier to see a trade law or a trade deal actually be done by the end of March? I mean, could we see a Trump-Xi meeting signing off on a trade agreement?
It is very possible. I'm sure that the Trump administration will be watching this. The other things on the agenda that the international community will be watching is Li Keqiang's reports on the government work. And Morgan Stanley and other institutions have predicted that the growth rate could be set at between 6% and 6.5%. And other key targets for consumptions, autos, and healthcare will also be closely watched by international traders because these measures could affect the stock market in China.
Domestically, what do you think will be the biggest outcomes that everyday Chinese will be affected by? What will people at home be watching for?
People at home will be watching how the government is going to handle the financial the risks. Earlier, President Xi Jinping had mentioned that there are the systemic risks built into the financial and the capital market. Those he characterized as the gray rhinos and the black swans. So I'm sure most of the Chinese citizens will be closely watching how the government is going to deal with these risks. So these measures will affect the market inside China.
All right, Chunjuan Nancy Wei, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.